Good afternoon, and welcome to this week's staff meeting. Today, we will be focusing on a specific area of diversity in the classroom students who are gifted and talented. To start us off, we will begin by playing one of my students' favourite games Two Truths and a Lie. I have prepared 3 different slides. Each slide has 3 facts about gifted and talented students. These facts will be hiding one lie on each slide, and it is up to you to figure out which is untrue. Let's begin. Slide number 1. A. Gifted and talented students excel in every area. B. Students who are gifted and talented can also be perfectionists and procrastinators. Or C. Albert Einstein was 4 years old before he could speak and 7 before he could read. Which one is the lie? The answer is A. Gifted and talented students do not have to excel in every area. Students may be gifted in only one or more different domains, and this does not have to spread across the curriculum. These students do often procrastinate due to having a lack of skills and tools to help them cope with the high standards that they set for themselves. It is also these high standards that set the precedents for perfectionism. And yes, Einstein, god of physics, had developmental delays. Slide number 2. A. Up to 50% of students who are deemed gifted and talented do not reach their full potential. B. Gifted and talented students are confident learners. Or C. Isaac Newton had poor grades at school. And the lie is B. Gifted and talented students are not necessarily confident learners. In fact, research shows that giftedness can often lead to feelings of social isolation and anxiety. Students can become used to the ease of understanding, and once they are provided with a challenge, this can cause frustration and fear. To clarify the statistics, the Victorian Department of Education estimated that between 10 and 50% of students are not provided with the tools and support to reach their full potential. And it's true. Sir Isaac Newton, mathematician, physicist, astronomer, philosopher, alchemist, and author, did poorly at school. Okay, last slide. A. Creative and imaginative learners are not often recognized as gifted. B. Wernher von Braun from NASA failed science at school. Or C. Gifted and talented students can have learning difficulties. And the lie is B. Wernher von Braun, aeronautical engineer, space architect, a pioneer of rocket science, did not fail science at school. He failed maths. What went wrong? 3 geniuses of their time all did poorly at school. Let's look into the giftedness and talent of children further and figure out what went wrong using the what, when, where, why, how method. What does it mean to be gifted and talented? Defining the term gifted and talented is quite complex. In its simplest form, a gift is a natural ability in a particular area. The talent that stems from this gift is the product of support, encouragement, and opportunity. Here are some of the key words that come to mind when we think of students who are gifted and talented. It is important to understand that students who are gifted and talented can show potential and outstanding performance in many different domains of learning areas. This can be subject specific, for example, in science, mathematics, English, or art, and these gifts can display themselves in a variety of skills within that subject, be it creative, academic, or interpersonal. It is critical to note here that students who are gifted and talented can also have learning disabilities. While students may be exceptional in one area, this potential and ability can vary dramatically across the curriculum. And most importantly, natural abilities and gifts do not discriminate. They are completely non homogeneous and can be identified across the full spectrum of diversity in our classrooms. When will I know if my student is gifted and talented? When will the shining light guide me towards the gifts? Well, it won't. One would think it would be easy to identify a student that stands out above all others. However, it can be quite difficult to identify gifted and talented students, especially in an intensely diverse classroom, a school that operates in a low socioeconomic or rural area, and through the restrictive nature of standardized testing. No two gifted students are the same. Whilst there are some common characteristics and traits, there is not a set of strict systems to follow in identifying these students. With this in mind, let's take a look at some of the different traits that act as markers for identification. This table shows some of the differences between students who are smart and students who are gifted. It is important to take notice of the critical lens through which gifted students approach tasks and activities. A smart student will answer questions in class, whereas a gifted student will ask questions. This shows a deeper level of engagement with the topic on hand. A gifted student will show a high level of curiosity, and rather than just accept the knowledge that is provided to them, they will actively manipulate this knowledge to increase their understanding. To do this, they may initiate projects and further learning opportunities to become deeply involved with the concept. While smart students are often very proud of their accomplishments, gifted students are often highly critical of their work, and this can lead to unrealistic expectations of themselves, procrastination, and perfectionism, as we briefly spoke about earlier. Which brings me to my next point. These are the characteristics and traits of a gifted and talented student who is engaged in their learning in a positive way. Whilst you may be thinking, well, that should be easy enough to identify, there are other characteristics that may divert you from the possibility of identifying giftedness. Students who are gifted and talented can quickly become bored in standard classrooms if they are not given the opportunity to expand and grow. This can lead to students acting out, being disruptive, distracted, and inattentive. There is also the possibility that students are acting in this way to gain attention from and fit in with their peers. Gifted and talented students often acknowledge their difference before educators do, and this can make them feel isolated and alienated from others in a similar age group. So, where does this fit in with the already busy lives of teachers in the planning and preparation process? Fortunately, the New South Wales Department of Education has a 5 step framework of actions to take in the case that a student may be gifted and talented. Number one, evaluate the school systems, policies, and programs that are available to enhance student achievement. Number two, assess and identify students that may be gifted and talented. There are a vast range of options to do this, and it will depend on the gift of the student and the school processes in place. Number three, implement a system and program that will support student growth. Number four, collaborate with community support networks, external programs, school staff, and parents. And number five, build teacher and leadership capabilities through professional development opportunities. These are widely available through MyPL on your New South Wales Department homepage. Let's look a little deeper into number 3, implementation. As educators, this is what you will be doing on a daily basis to provide students who are gifted and talented with opportunities to expand, grow, and challenge themselves. How? Differentiation. Teaching content, delivery, and expectations can be adjusted the same way it would for a student with a learning difficulty. Use an interdisciplinary approach to teaching. This allows students to explore multiple perspectives and by doing so provides a deeper connection to the concept. Students who are gifted and talented benefit from independent activities as it provides them with an element of ownership of their learning. It also allows them to direct their own interests in a guided manner. Teachers can encourage abstract and divergent thinking by asking higher order questions or organising open ended activities that prompt the students to synthesize ideas, infer meaning, and reason with what they already know. Providing these students with activities that involve research can increase motivation and create an intellectually stimulating environment that they can create meaning of. Finally, in some cases, the curriculum can be adjusted to suit the needs of the gifted student. However, it is very important to carefully consider this action as it can allow for boredom in future years. This is a small example of what can be adjusted in the classroom to suit the needs of gifted students. I have included links on the handout to the New South Wales Department of Education page for more information on the 5 key actions, and links to illustrations of practice videos for your own observations and future practices in the classroom. Now we're up to the why. Why is it important to cater for gifted and talented students? Because the Alice Springs Declaration, formerly known as the Melbourne Declaration on Educational Goals for Young Australians, says so. Also, gifted students are our prospective leaders and innovators. In nurturing their talents, we are not only meeting their rights to access an appropriate education, but also ensuring that the future of our society is in good hands. And finally, how do I know all this? Thank you very much.